Hi, this is Jason Lisk with your Week 3 NFL Survivor recap and reaction show. After 2 weeks of pretty much every chalk pick going through, even with some sweat, we got some knockouts this week. So let's commiserate together about what happened in Week 3. One of those knockouts, there wasn't much drama. We didn't get a sweat, and the other created very unlikely drama and quite the bad beat. Let's get to the Atlanta situation first. We had 7 teams in week 3 who were drawing most of the survivor picks. Atlanta was among them, coming in around 5th or 6th in popularity in a lot of pools, as one of those alternatives if you're going to stay off Seattle or Buffalo. So Atlanta went to Carolina. Carolina 0-2. Atlanta looked dominant last week in Minnesota, but how quickly things can change in the NFL. Atlanta got shut out. So I don't know if that ranks as where that ranks on the survivor gut punch meter, that your pick never scored. Is that worse? Weigh in the chat. Is that worse than having a pick that lost like the next one we're going to talk about? Because Atlanta was pretty much done. You could have counted that one as a loss around the start of the fourth quarter when they still hadn't scored and that margin kept stretching. I know the comebacks are all the rage in the NFL, all directions, but once you get down 30-0, it probably ain't happening in the NFL. So Atlanta bowed out 30-0. They outgained Carolina, so they can at least sleep with that under their pillow, but could not get in the end zone, could not get on the board. Atlanta 30-0 as a survivor upset to break the seal on the survivors that lose this week. Well, that one became official early or unofficial early, but the next one, we had another team that was getting shut out. But that team was the Cleveland Browns. They were getting shut out for almost the entire game until the final 4 minutes. But then they were able to go on a drive, get a field goal to cut it to 10-3 because Green Bay did not put them away while that Green Bay defense was dominating. Let them hang around. And you know what happens in survivor pools if you let the team hang around. And you know you had that lurking feeling when the Browns got that field goal. And then on the next drive, Jordan Love, with under 4 minutes, throws a costly pick that set the Browns up inside the red zone. You know, if the Packers simply punt that ball away, who knows what happens? But the Packers defense played incredibly, and they lost this game basically without giving up much more than one sustained field goal drive. But the Browns got that interception. They punched it in, tie game with under 3 minutes left. And then the Packers hit a couple big passes, got down to Browns territory, got down to where the Browns couldn't call any more timeouts. The Packers were able to run the clock down, but they couldn't run it entirely down before they had to kick on 4th down. And so attempted a field goal for about 40 plus out, just outside, right around 40. And, well, you know what happened. Now, if anybody has a betting slip of an in-game bet on the Browns to win outright in that game at that moment before that kick happened, would love to see that because that number had to be quite high. This is the crazy thing to think about with how this game played out. Your chances of advancing as a survivor pick were higher with the Browns in a tie game, waiting to kick a field goal with under 30 seconds left, and the Browns having no timeouts. Just because of those, that's like an 80%, 90% kick. Plus, you still likely have overtime, right? It can't happen that you're going to lose in regulation there with the Browns having no timeouts. The odds are so small that really the only thing that could happen is a blocked kick that knocks the ball backwards to midfield, which is exactly what happened. Setting the Browns up to hit one play, spike the ball just in time. And then we all learned about Schmidt. Andre Schmidt, the Browns' new kicker, drilled a 55-yarder to stick it in all of our Packer backer eye holes for survivor pools. Hey, we're included. We had 4 trying to go a little contrarian with some extra Packers. in Circa Survivor, tough way to go out with the first entries of the year in that contest in what looked like, despite the struggles, what was looked like a win just a few seconds earlier. But the Packers are gone after squandering opportunities, letting the Browns hang around, and then letting the craziness of the NFL happen. We saw some other craziness in the NFL. It almost got another team, Tampa Bay. They had a kick blocked. Jets returned it for a touchdown. Took the lead after being down big, but the difference is the Bucs still had time, and they had Baker Mayfield, and he made the throws necessary in the 2-minute drive to set the Bucs up for the game-winning field goal. The third game in a row the Bucs have scored to come back and win a game in the final minutes, inside the final minute. And so the Bucs stay alive. Quite the trade. If you were on the Packers or the Bucs, honestly, 2 games that could have gone either way with some ridiculous kicking outcomes. Bucs advance, Packers do not. The Bucs come in at about our 4th most popular, the Packers 3rd. The top 2 advanced fairly easily. Seattle definitely rolled over Saints. The Bills in a tight game for 3 quarters, but pulled away late on the Dolphins. So those 2 were your biggest advancers. And then the Chiefs on Sunday night were also drawing interest in survivor pools as a road favorite, as were the road favorite Colts, who continued their run at 3-0. They were honestly one of the easiest wins to get through. They had that one largely stretched out early and in control throughout the game. So 5 of the 7 advanced, but 2 big losses, Packers, Falcons. Who did you have? Hopefully you did not catch Schmidt on week 3. Well, good luck in week 4. And look for our week 4 Survivor video coming out shortly.